The traitors, and to an extent the viewers, were wondering if the traitors managed to hit their intended target, or would they end up hitting a blank shot and see that fateful enter breakfast. While waiting for the other players to enter, Matthew, Rachel and Stephen were talking about if they should be looking at either people that jump on a bandwagon or those that fly under the radar. I found it funny that Ellie, Jack and Jade walked in after that moment. Were their ears burning because one or two of them fit exactly what they mentioned? At least the traitors and traitor in waiting didn't have to stay too long by themselves. James looked uncomfortable as the others were talking about the sneaky one that took a shield and didn't tell their team. It wasn't long before the truth came out because of who didn't turn up for breakfast. The traitors actually struck their target as they successfully went for Adam. The truth came out that it was James who sneakily took the shield, and this piece of information firmly put the spotlight on him. While some didn't think he was a traitor, they questioned if they could trust him. The players were taken deep into the woods where Claudia likes to take the players at least once a season. We were once again having a cabin in the woods mission. There was even a graveyard as an added bonus. Inside the cabin, the players needed to figure out a series of creepy and cryptic messages. Each one would be a name that they would need to find situated on one of the gravestones. The cabin door would open and they would only have 60 seconds for one player to stand next to the grave they think matches the message. £1,000 would be added to the prize pot for each grave correctly identified. There was only one shield in play, and if taken, they couldn't get the money for that message. I wonder if Ghost Hunter Adam would have loved this mission. He only needed to last one more night to partake in this spooky one. There was no discussion for the first message. Sam got up and said he was going for the shield, something that would later be questioned by the others. I was wondering why on earth did Eddie go to Jack Rock first, which was the wrong grave, despite everyone saying it was Jack Stone before she left. Did Ellie just panic? This mission was like so many horror films rolled into one. So many screams inside the cabin and the odd scream outside when the arms came out of the grave. How long were the owners of those arms there for? Or were they mechanical arms? I must have missed the warning before the episode started, because this is surely something the broadcasters would warn the viewers of beforehand. James might have been enjoying this mission a bit. There were 6 opportunities to add money, and in the end £4,000 was added to the prize pot. Along with Sam taking the shield, Jack stood at an incorrect grave. As the episode went on, Jack and Jade were being shown more in the edit. Just as Stephen thought Fiona's banishment meant Jesse would be off his case, she is circling back to her suspicions of Stephen. She just can't let him go and is convinced there was a traitor in the cages, and that traitor is Stephen. I know Jesse is correct about this, but I always wonder why in so many editions faithfuls say with absolute certainty that a traitor has put themselves on a death row list. A lot of the times they don't, because of this very reason. Some faithfuls just can't let it go that there must have been one, so it's always better to compile a list consisting only of faithfuls. Rachel made a mistake by putting a red dot on Stephen, because this could later prove to be his undoing. There was a lot of people speaking, in fact most of them did, whether that was to defend themselves, scrutinise someone or both. I thought Matthew and Roxy would be under scrutiny. I was very surprised that Roxy wasn't under any. I think Stephen missed a good opportunity to defend himself when questioned about how upset he was when voting for Fiona. He could have leaned on the fact that he voted for Hugo and wasn't upset then. It's not the best idea of a defence, but it would be something. Sam had been a suspect from day one. At one point even I thought he might be the secret traitor. It was a brief moment, but I still hold my hands up to that thought. With the continuing suspicion, Adam's murder and Sam's desperate need to get the shield, Sam had been banished. I liked the way Sam said his speech and how he reeled them in, making them think they caught another traitor.
For us, Matt, I guess persistence is key. I have always been a faithful.
While still at the round table, Rachel had said something interesting to Jade, that Sam being a faithful is good news for Jade because it means Amanda can also be wrong about Jade. Now I was wondering what was the next phase in Rachel's plan, because now she would need to pivot her outward suspicions onto someone else. I'm trying to work out what Matthew's game plan currently is. Since proposing the deal to the traitors, he has twice actively gone for players he thought were traitors. Is Matthew trying to anger the traitors, or is he trying to force a blackmail, with him being the prime candidate? At this point, I don't know how some of these faithfuls still have terrible edits and low confessionals, but also have escaped any scrutiny. They might show them pipe up the odd time at the round table, but prior to that you barely see or hear them. With who is left, I'm finding it hard to root for any of the faithfuls. I feel like I'm still in the introductory stage for some of them, which is bad because this season ends in 4 episodes. There's been no story. Does it ever ramp up for some of them? This is what I'm finding frustrating. I don't think I'm cheering for the traitors by default. If I'm cheering, then it's because I think Rachel is playing this game well. The way she's navigating what has been thrown at her and seems to have the trust of a lot of players gives her the possibility of taking herself all the way to victory. Stephen has had more of an up and down performance with a couple of slip-ups. He has a smaller chance, but I think his survival in this game relies on one pivotal choice. Rachel and Stephen were pretty quick to decide not to recruit, while also dismissing the idea of bringing Matthew into the turret at any point. In fact, they were discussing Matthew as a possible candidate for murder. My thoughts exactly. I said Matthew is dangerous. Matthew is being traitorous to the faithfuls, so he'll have no problem being traitorous to the traitors if they make him one. The full list of candidates are Faraz, Jesse and Matthew. This is mainly a tough choice for Stephen, given that Jesse is back on his case. Play this wrong and he can wave goodbye to the game.